Hey guys, I'm Annette Siren, and today we're going to be doing another Crappypasta. Um, so this time we're going to be doing Sonic.exe. Now, I personally have mixed opinions about this story, and I don't necessarily view it as a Crappypasta myself, but a lot of the other Creepypasta community still sees it that way. I mean, it was even taken off of the Creepypasta wiki and moved to the Troll Pasta because some people thought it was too cliche and not well written. I disagree with the fact that it's cliche because this was one of the first gaming creepypastas of the haunted cart. I cannot talk today. Of the haunted disc, let's say it that way. So I don't see how it can be cliche because every other pasta afterwards that pulls off of this, those would be the cliche. This one just set the cliches. Now, I don't like some of the stuff in it, but I think it's a little bit interesting. And when it first came out, of course, it was different. It was not, it was unique. But since then, there have been so many gaming creepypastas just like this, and it kind of has dwindled in quality since this game came out. Now, I know the Creepypasta wiki hardly ever allows gaming creepypastas, at least for this, of this caliber, because of the fact that so many people write them now, and I kind of blame that on this story. But this story also started them in general. It isn't its fault that so many people write them now. But I don't agree with the fact that it was moved, much like they moved Jeff the Killer, because even though I don't like either of these pastas really, they are still one of the most popular creepypastas, and I believe they have a right to be on the Creepypasta wiki. But one reason I really I don't necessarily care for this creepypasta is because of its author. And there are some articles I found that its author posted that I will read after I finish reading this. And you will kind of see why I don't necessarily care for this guy. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to read Sonic.exe. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. Why is he assuming that everyone is a Sonic fan? I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. Who likes the newer games? The classics are the best. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. Why does he say he hasn't played glitchy or hacked games, but then says he doesn't want to play anymore? Doesn't this guy generally believe that the Sonic.exe thing is haunted, not glitchy or hacked? It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I like how you get to explore the towns in it, until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox, as usual, and left. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I look inside. Oh, there's a tense change right there. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that. Whom I hadn't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognized his handwriting. Oh, okay. Though what was weird is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. Okay, there's a little bit of a contradiction there. He says he recognizes the handwriting, but then says it was hard to read and scratchy. I mean, I guess you would still kind of have that reminiscence of the personal handwriting, but I don't really see how, if it looked unrecognizable and scratchy, that he'd be able to tell that it was Kyle's. Anyway, this is what he wrote. Tom, I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late, and I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me, and if you destroy this CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc and you'll destroy him, but do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game if it's what he wants. Just destroy it, please, Kyle. Oh, what a dick he is to his friend. I mean, he just sends him this disc that sticks Sonic out on people, and he's just like, destroy this for me, you know, but don't play it. Of course she's gonna play it. Well, that was certainly weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Ugh. The writing, I have to admit, now that I'm actually reading this for myself, because most of the time I heard other people read it, you know, on YouTube. The writing in this is just, it is kind of that cliche setup for a creepypasta. At least the bad ones, anyway. Anyway, I looked at the disc, and it looks like an ordinary computer CDR disc, except it had black marker on it written Sonic.exe, and it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from somewhere else. Really? Like a pawn shop or eBay. What, does he think he made the freaking game? Where else the heck would he get it? When I saw Sonic on the CD of the writing, I was actually excited and wanted to play it, since I'm a big Sonic fan. Yeah, you already said that. Also, how ironic is it that he was playing a newer Sonic game, and then all of a sudden here comes a mailman with this old haunted Sonic game. Like, really, he just so happened to be playing Sonic when you get a Sonic game? What, you couldn't have been playing something else? Why do we have to overload this thing with Sonic? That's kind of unrealistic. I went up to my room and turned on the computer and put the disc in and installed the game. When the first screen popped up, I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome! Because, like I said earlier, I like the classics. Yeah, okay. The first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I pressed start. Theirs was a split second when I saw the title image turned into something much different. It's something that I now consider horrifying before cutting it back. Or cutting to black, I'm sorry. I remember what the image looked like in the split second before the game cut to black. Yeah, how would he be able to take all this in a split second? And he also has a screenshot of it. Now, I don't know if it says that he started again and it played, he took a screenshot, but how the hell did he get a screenshot? The sky had darkened. The title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 was now Sega 666. And the water had turned red, like blood, except it looked hyper-realistic. Ooh. But the freakiest thing that was in the split-second frame was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding, with the two glowing red dots staring right at me. And his smile had stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about the image when I saw it, though I figured that it was just a glitch and forgot about it. Oh yeah, that was... This is one of the cliches. The players just cutting off these freaky occurrences as just a glitch. How the hell is the game gonna glitch to freaking Sonic with black eyes and blood everywhere and Sega freaking, oh my gosh. Like, who the heck puts that off as a glitch? There's nothing that would ever glitch like that. Ugh. Alright, where was I? I lost my place in my rant. Okay. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so, and then another weird thing happened. The save files select... What? The save files... Oh, okay, never mind. Select from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, WTF? What's this doing in the first Sonic game? That's kind of how I see this guy talking. You know, kind of like a teenage blonde girl. I don't know. Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was the dark cloud sky of the bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD. And there were only 3 save files. The music was the creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound. But only it was extended and seemed to have been in reverse. And the image for the save file where you see a preview of the level you're on is just red static for all 3 files. But you know, it was just a glitch. I'm still pretty certain it's just glitching out right now. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I know it has some Earthbound music in it, but hey, glitches, man, they do stuff like that sometimes. What freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game, for crying out loud? That's when I realized that this wasn't a glitchy game. It was a hacked game. Oh my gosh, so that's when you realize it was a glitchy game, or it wasn't a glitchy game, is when you see Dr. Robotnik. Like, really? It wasn't the Earthbound music or the freaking, what was it, Sky from Sonic CD or any of that stuff. There wasn't the blood, the dark eyes. It was the fact that you could play as Dr. Robotnik. That is just stupid! Oh my gosh. Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy, but as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared. Or at least I tried not to be, okay. I told myself that it was just a hacked game and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked... Yeah, that sounds great. There should be a... Never mind. Shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked file 1 and chose Tails, and when I selected and got started, the game froze for about 5 seconds, and I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded like an awful lot like that Kefka guy from Final Fantasy before cutting into black, but you know, it was just a glitch. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more. Then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different, shades of red, and the text showed only Hill Act 1. The screen faded in and the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails start running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games. What was odd was that Tails was running along the level. There was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. That was when the peaceful music started to lower down into slow, deep tones very slowly as I kept going. He said it was peaceful melody in reverse, so how was it still peaceful when it started to get lower? I mean, that would still sound creepy as fuck despite the fact that it was peaceful or not. I suddenly saw something and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him have before, but it was just a glitch. So I had him move along, and he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowers and he moves past more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanged on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there were no more animals and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. See, and this is one of the other cliches, and this is something that really a lot of creepypastas can do without, and that is the overuse of gore. Like, there's just way too much gore in this creepypasta. After a minute passed after the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill, and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen, with his back against Tails with his eyes closed. Okay. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him. If not acting as if he was totally oblivious to Tails' presence, Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move. So this had to be a cutscene. Suddenly I began to have a growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. The foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails, sorry, that's a hard word to say, to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black, with those red glowing dots, just like the title image. Thought there wasn't a smile. Oh, though, it's supposed to be though, but he put thought. Though there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds, and then white text appeared, forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" I'm sorry, let me say that in a different voice. "Hello, do you want to play with me?" At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level, with the level title now saying Hide and Seek. Yeah, okay. This time I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire. Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of there. So I pressed down the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. A pixelated version of that creepy theme when you meet Shadow in the ARK as Robotnik from SA2. It was playing as I made Tails trek through the desolate forest, trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. Suddenly I heard that creepy laugh again, that awful Kefka laugh. Right after 10 seconds have passed as I helped Tails run through the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful, drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails, slowly gaining up on him, flying. What? Sonic wasn't running. He was actually flying. The flying pose his sprite was looked very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD, except it was just Sonic and he had the black and red eyes again. Only, and then for some reason he like enters down instead of continuing on that line. This time he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving this poor little fox as he gained up on him. Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails lay there and started crying for 15 seconds. I timed it, guys. I timed how long he was crying. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I kind of teared up myself, but then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails, and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come down those blackened eyes of Sonic's as a grin slowly grew from his face as he looked down at the horrified fox. I could do nothing but watch. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the scene went black. There was a loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. The text returned, only this time it said, "You are too slow. Wanna try again?" And then the god-awful laugh came with it. How was that laugh god-awful? I find it amusing. I was so shocked by what had happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he wouldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself. What? Which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding, his orange fur had gone black, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next.